Hi everyone, this is Alan Stout, Executive Director of Visit Luzerne County, and welcome to Next Stop, the Visit Luzerne County podcast. Here, each month, we'll be chatting with people from throughout northeastern Pennsylvania that help make our region a fun place to visit. We record the podcast right here at our office, inside the historic train station in Wilkes-Barre, which served as the next stop for countless trains for more than 100 years. Our next stop with our podcast will always be with someone we think you'll find interesting. Enjoy. Hi, this is Alan Stout, and welcome to Next Stop, the Visit Luzerne County podcast. On today's edition, we're talking with Megan Searfoss. She is the chairman of Whitehaven's Jam Below the Dam, and she's also a member of the Whitehaven Chamber of Commerce. We have so much great stuff to talk about today, not only with Jam Below the Dam, but all the other great outdoor activities and events and fun things happening in the wonderful community of Whitehaven. So thank you, Megan, for joining us today. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Let's get right to the big one that's coming up soon. Obviously, July in northeastern Pennsylvania is so jam-packed with music. You know, we have our Rock in the River shows, Rock in the Mountain shows, Break Farm. And right in the middle of all that is your wonderful event that you do, which goes on for 2 days and has such great music. And so tell us about Jam Below the Dam, maybe a little bit about its history and then about this year as well.
Absolutely. So Jam Below the Dam started 3 years ago as kind of a reboot of the Whitehaven River Festival from decades ago. It's something I attended as a child, and I'd always had this dream to bring it back. So for Whitehaven's bicentennial, we tried to recreate that event, and it went better than expected, and the turnout was very impressive compared to what we had anticipated. And so
that's always a nice surprise, right?
Absolutely. And after that event, we decided as a community to pick up and run with it, and just continue to do what we do in Whitehaven as a group, as a chamber, and as a community, and just build on that success, make that better, and try to really accentuate our local businesses, our local artisans, and our local talent.
I saw on you have a great website dedicated just to this event. So this event has its own URL and website, and you could find it on the Chamber website as well. But I was checking it out, and it's sort of described as a street festival. I mean, that's some of the wordage that you use. Can you talk about how that works with the music?
Absolutely. So Whitehaven shuts down Main Street for a 2-day block party the last weekend of July. It's Friday evening and Saturday all day. The event has 2 stages, one at either end of Main Street, and there will be a total of 12 bands performing throughout the weekend this year. I believe we have a total of like a half an hour over the 2 days where there is not a live band playing. It also features tons of breweries, distilleries, cideries, local food trucks. The talent is mostly local bands, hyper-local bands. Some pulled from as far as Allentown area, Philadelphia area, but most of them are within the 570 area code. And then we also have a ton of artisan vendors that come from all over the area with their crafting talents and different displays. We've got a lot of historical displays. So some of the nonprofits from the area, historical societies, as well as Eckley Miners Village will be participating in the event with some activities. And it's just a really family-friendly event with tons to check out and do throughout the weekend.
Is that something, the historical component, is that something that you do every year, or is that because your event will be coming right after the big 250 celebrations all over the United States too. Is history always an important part of the event?
History is always an important part of the Jam Below the Dam Festival for us as a community. We are a historic community. We celebrated our bicentennial a couple of years ago, and we have a rich heritage, a lot of rich history, and we like to incorporate that into the event so that we're not only acknowledging where we came from, but celebrating it and sharing it with our visitors.
It's such a scenic part of Luzerne County, a beautiful part of Luzerne County. We know from our relationship with Whitehaven here at the Visitors Bureau that they're prideful people. I did a little bit of research, as I try to do with all the communities throughout northeastern Pennsylvania. Whitehaven, founded in 1824, incorporated into a municipality in 1842. You just mentioned you had some anniversary celebrations. Sort of tucked. I wouldn't even. Some people refer to it as Southern Luzerne County, but I say it's halfway to Southern Luzerne County because you could be in Whitehaven and Wilkes-Barre in no time. And so basically, I tell people you go up to Mountaintop and you make a left, and they'll take you right to Whitehaven. And so I want to talk a little bit about some of the other events that happen year-round in Whitehaven. But before we do that, for Jam Below the Dam, the talent that you talked about, how do you go about finding these musicians that perform? Because we do have so much great talent. I know that one of them that you have performing, Gracie Jane Sinclair, we also have performing at one of our events this summer, and she's really starting to make a nice name for herself throughout northeastern Pennsylvania. She's won a lot of awards and contests, and I'm sure that maybe she was an easier one to spot, but how do you find some of the others?
That's a great question, Alan. So the talent that we found locally have come to us through a lot of different avenues. Some of them have been bands that I'm personally familiar with that I've seen at other festivals, such as Sister Esther will be joining us this year. I'm familiar with them from the Valley with a Heart event.
Yeah, I've been to that.
And their lead singer, Joseph Sinclair, was actually my high school English teacher.
Oh, wow.
So, there's some connections locally that way. Friends and family will suggest bands that their relatives or friends are in. We have a lot of people reaching out to us this year, asking to be part of this event, which is very humbling and an honor for all of us to be able to.
Yeah,
to be able to have that kind of recognition, and just want people to be part of our event in our small town.
Once you get an event that's established a few years and it gets a reputation like yours has as being a quality event, you will get a lot of offers for bands. Sometimes you don't have to go knocking; they come knocking, and so that is a tribute to you and your team that put this event together. And we wish you all the best. Give everybody the dates again for those. I know you said it's Friday evening and Saturday all day, but the dates are...
So Friday, July 24th from 4 p.m. to 10 p.m. and Saturday, July 25th from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. There will be music, food trucks, bands, artists and vendors, and a whole lot of fun.
And that it has its own website too. So if you Google Jam Below the Dam, pop right up.
It's www.jambelowthedam.com.
About as easy as it gets. You got a good URL. Let's talk about some of the other great things that happen in Whitehaven. We're familiar with some of them here at the Visitors Bureau because we sponsored them over the years. And then some of them, we only more recently learned more about them. The fishing derby that happens every spring. A great fun time for families and the people who like to get by the water as soon as the weather starts to break. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely. So we hold the fishing derby on opening day of fishing season each year. The Lehigh River is a stocked river, so there's plenty of fish to catch. It is a family-friendly event. Lots of prizes. It's just a great day to spend outdoors and get the kids into being outside, experiencing new things on the water.
And the art walk.
The art walk is kind of the original baby, I think, of the Whitehaven Chamber. It's a walking trail with 4 to 5 different locations. It grows a little bit every year, featuring a ton of local artists in different avenues. So you've got a lot of painters, you've got some sculptors, you've got some quilters, just very different disciplines of art. There's live music and different food and beverage options at each location. It's really a great opportunity to experience some local culture and really immerse yourself in our local art scene. We do have some very talented people in our area, and it's nice for all of them to come together for that event.
Great to get them out and show their art, an opportunity to showcase it, and have the people from this community see it and bring it into another great. You're very, I think your chamber and your volunteers on your various committees, I think you do a great job of pulling the community together for the residents there, but also making it an attractive place to visit. And whether it's the art walk or the fishing derby or jam below the dam, I know that I've been down there at Christmas time, and it's very beautiful. You have a tree lighting ceremony. Now you want to talk a little bit about the holidays in Whitehaven? Because
absolutely,
it look like a Hallmark card, right?
So Whitehaven is, as you know, it's a small town, very quaint. It's a 4-block main street, but it is your traditional small town. So we have a Shop Small Saturday event that we typically do each year. And that's a family-friendly event where we try to not only showcase some local vendors and give people the opportunity to shop small, but also bring in some family-friendly activities. So we've had the last couple of years some live reindeer.
Oh, wow.
There's always a Santa parade and a beautiful tree lighting ceremony after dark down by our trademark caboose that sits in the middle of town. There are all kinds of different features that day. So this year's event had a s'mores trail where each business that you visited, you got a piece to build your s'more, and we had fire pits set up at the far end of Main Street where you could then toast your marshmallows and make your treats, pick up some hot chocolate or some hot cider, and help support some of our local nonprofits through some raffles that we also did that day.
Oh, wow. So there's a charitable component as well. And what great memories you're making, especially for the children of Whitehaven, with the reindeer and Santa, and having such a beautiful holiday celebration in your community. We commend you here at the Visitors Bureau on all those things, whether, like I said, be jam below the dam or the fishing, the art, the holiday season. But also, when we think of Whitehaven, we think of hiking opportunities, we think of biking opportunities, we think of the Lehigh Gorge State Park and the 26-mile trail there. And so that, from what we've learned working with your chamber, brings in a lot of people through Whitehaven every year. You want to talk a little bit about the park and the gorge and all the outdoor activities that happen there in your neck of the woods?
Absolutely, Alan. So we are very blessed as a community to be sort of a hub for outdoor recreation for Lower Luzerne County and part of Carbon County. We're centrally located between several state parks, including Lehigh Gorge State Park, Hickory Run State Park.
Yeah, that's also really close.
Francis Walter Dam is only a couple of miles just outside of town, and that is also where we get the dam releases that give us the beautiful flow and rafting opportunities on the Lehigh River. We're the only town that our main street actually consists of the Delaware National Heritage Corridor Trail.
Right.
So that goes right down the middle of our main street and connects one end of the trail to the other, giving visitors a wonderful opportunity to experience some of the local shopping and fare that we have in town. Also be along the river and just kind of experience a little bit of that outdoor wonder that Whitehaven has to offer.
That part of the trail that goes through the downtown, I know that obviously that's good for business for those restaurants and those shops. What kind of shops and restaurants will they encounter if they're out? Well, even if they're not on the trail, even if they just come down to Whitehaven for Christmas time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, talk to us about your shopping and your restaurants.
Absolutely. So Whitehaven actually has one restaurant that has been on Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives So we have that little
claim to fame.
Clip in our hat.
Yeah.
So the Whitehaven Family Diner has been on Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives several years ago for their giant cheeseburgers, which I think most people have heard about at some point. But we also have some other eateries right on Main Street that offer different types of fare. There's some bar food. There's the Soapy Bee that has very eclectic specials. She runs something a little bit different every week, so that's something to look out for. And then, of course, we have Woods Ice Cream, which I think most of the area has kind of come to know from their ice cream truck. But we have the original right there in Whitehaven on Main Street. And then shopping, we have some great little gift shops and specialty stores in Whitehaven, and there's more coming every day. So we have... The Soapy Bee also has a gift shop as well as Circle 25, fantastic little store right on the corner. You can't miss it. We have a yarn store that is specific to hand-dyed yarns, things of that nature, and quilting. So it's a very specialty shop, but it has just about everything you could be looking for. And so if anybody's into that scene, it's a great stop. And those types of shops are much harder to find these days. So.
Well, it's terrific. I mean, you have these great events that happen year round. You know, you've got the summer, the spring, the winter. You've got the trails, which some people actually do year round. Probably see a little bit of a spike from April through maybe November, but there are some Vikings out there, as we all know. And then if they're there, you have all these opportunities to shop and dine. I had the honor a couple of years ago when I first came into this job at the Visitors Bureau of attending the ribbon cutting ceremony at the Rail Yard Park, which is adjacent to your library and your visitor center. And that's just a wonderful complex there between having the three things, you know, all adjacent to one another, or in the case of the library and the visitor center, actually in the same building. Talk to the people that are watching and listening about not only the visitor center, but also the Rail Yard Park and why that's such an important part of the Whitehaven community as well.
Absolutely. So the Whitehaven Library actually started about 25 years ago as a little one-room library in an office above what used to be PNC Bank. I was actually one of the first volunteers. I was 11 years old. And it has grown simply through the grit and dedication of the people within our community into this glorious building. We were able to restore an antique train building and turned it into a full-fledged library with lots of different activities for local individuals, as well as opportunities for people from the area to come in for different learning opportunities. There's educational courses on trout and different native plants and all kinds of outdoor topics that you would likely encounter should you be utilizing any of our outdoor recreation opportunities in town. And then they were able to turn the lobby of that building into a gorgeous and historically relevant.
It's informative and it's a tribute. It's informational, historical. I mean, you have it all. Especially for people coming through town for all the things we talked about before.
It gives you the history of Whitehaven from its industry through the railroad years and right up through present day. And it really gives you pictorial and physical artifacts to look at so that it immerses you in the history of the town. And then we were able to add the Rail Yard Park several years later. It's the newest addition to the library. It's a beautiful outdoor space cultivated with native plants and a meeting space. We host tons of children's activities out there throughout the summer. And the library also hosts a children's summer program each year that is vital to our community. So it really is just the center of the heartbeat of Whitehaven. It was our first project that we took on as a community to really push us forward into what would be the new Whitehaven. And it was the first step in our revitalization. And the rail yard park is just another button in the cap on our success story there.
As I said, I've been fortunate enough to been to all of them. The library, walk through the whole thing, and the guest center. The guest center is actually a stop on our Visit Luzerne County History Trail. And so hopefully you might be seeing some more people coming by just because they're out there on the trail. And we thought it was a great place for people to explore. And of course, the park as well. I mean, I know that like so many parts of this region in northeastern Pennsylvania, that they were developed around the surgence of anthracite coal and the rails, and so to have something there as a tribute to that part of your history, I think is wonderful as well. And we love working with your chamber, and we're proud to sponsor your events. And it was really nice, Megan, for you to come down today and talk to us about them all. And since we're coming up on it again, why don't we end it with where we started and bring it back to the Jam Below the Dam that's coming up. Give the dates and everything one more time.
Absolutely. So the Jam Below the Dam is Friday, July 24th and Saturday, July 25th until 10 p.m., featuring live bands, local music, local artisans, and tons of food and drink.
Wish you all the best with it. We know it's going to be a great time for everybody. And from everybody here at the Visitors Bureau, we thank you and the Chamber and all the great people from Whitehaven for making this such a great place to live and visit here in northeastern Pennsylvania.
We thank you for having us, Alan.
We'll catch you next time.